There seems to be only one playthrough video of Sentinel's tactics that's really good at all, and I wish I could do a full game here, but I don't think that's the kind of thing that's going to catch your attention. Nevertheless, I do want to show you a little bit about these expansion things, the maps. There are 4 maps you can get for Sentinel's tactics. The one that you're looking at right here is the mobile defense platform. While you don't really have to choose any particular heroes or even any particular enemy, I think it would be felt fairly broadly that the mobile defense platform belongs to Baron Blade. So he's the enemy that I've played against in this scenario. They have suggested a scenario online that you can sort of download or print off. It is official, but it's not like you would need to pay for it or anything, because the actual scenario descriptions that they came up with for all of these 4 maps came out sort of after they decided to kill this game. However, I intentionally went after these maps because I really like this game. This game is a lot of fun. I've read about problems, about people thinking it's not balanced and so forth, but I haven't run into those yet. And I really like this game. So I played 2 heroes, Wraith and Tachyon, who are over there. You can't quite see them yet. I'll change things around. I played Wraith and Tachyon against Baron Blade. In the mobile defense platform, there are 3 sections: the berth, the bridge, and over here is the sky deck. The sky deck's in the middle. The bridge presumably is on the top of some sort of spherical thing, and the berth is on the bottom. And we're going to look in closely at the berth here now. So let me quickly explain the way it looks right now. First of all, you'll see in the center of the berth this section here that's outlined by these sort of police tape things or whatever they may be, warning gates or something. And you might also see this black squiggly line here. That's a kind of a doorway. At least that's what I imagine it is. I'm quite certain it is. It's like a cargo bay door. And so your heroes have to enter in on that space. By the way, this is a scenario that I made up, so I'm not using the one that GMT has printed or suggested for this. That didn't seem like a lot of fun. It was just like a big game of capture the flag, and yeah, it just did not look like fun. So I created my own scenario. More on that in a second. Each hero must pop up in here. Now, you don't start on the board. You start off the board. And for your first turn, you can grab an aim token, you can grab a dodge token, you can sprint, or you can move. And frankly, those are one of the things you're going to do. But if you grab an aim or a dodge token, you're still not on the map. The only thing that's going to get you on the map is some kind of movement, whether that's movement or sprinting. And your first hex of movement will be one of these. See what I'm getting at? So it's like the heroes are infiltrating through the cargo bay doors. So they pop up in here. So if your movement was, say, 4, playing, doesn't matter, Tachyon, you might choose this to be your first square. And then 2, 3, 4, or whatever. Or this could be your first square, and that could be your second square. The blue outlined areas are sort of transporter pads or elevators, if you will. Any blue on this section of the game board on the berth allows you to instantly transport into the sky deck that we'll look at next. But you can't go from the sky deck to the bridge or from the bridge to the sky deck. You must always go in between. And these are offset. So what that means is you always have to move around the sky deck before you can travel seamlessly between here. So that's a good idea. Now here's how you set up the berth when you're going to play my scenario, my variant. It's pretty straightforward. It's quite simply 3 Blade Battalion soldiers, and this is their position. So you can see that you're going to want to either pop up in here and go immediately to another level, or maybe you're going to want to take out one of these Blade Battalion guys. But in the game I just played, our heroes were able to take out 2 of them, but not the third, and the third followed them up to the sky deck. So the big difference about the Sky Deck isn't that it's a bigger playing area, except that there are 4 energy turbines on here. Now, I had to make an adjustment for this because the energy turbines are hazard spaces. You roll 6 dice for that, and a 1 and a 2 are on auto miss, but a 3, 4, and a 5 and a 6 are all hits. Now that's if you're actually going through an energy turbine, which is that hex. So the way this looks here, Wraith would not be in a hazard space, okay, because she has not passed through an energy turbine. However, I didn't really like that. So what I did was I said that the energy turbines, instead of having a radius attack of 0, they have a radius attack of 1. And so obviously then Wraith is within the radius attack of the energy turbine. It's not that the energy turbines are attacking her per se. Well, let me take that back. The energy turbines are attacking her, but it's not like they have lasers or that sort of thing. I think what it really represents is that the energy turbines are simply giving off a lot of radioactivity or something like that that's really, really harmful and dangerous to be around. And so that's what happens when you move into one of these areas. You're immediately getting bathed in, let's say, radiation, and that radiation has a radius of 1. It's contained within this silo. But since you can't really do an area attack against these, then you must enter into the silo to destroy it. And the interesting thing is, because these aren't pylons and because they don't have health, because they're simply scenario markers, you need to be beside them in order to destroy them. The idea of my variant here is that there are 7 of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 3 additional ones on the bridge where the computers are, and we'll see that in a second. The heroes need to flip 4 of these over, so they need to activate them. And when they activate one of the scenario markers, you simply flip it from the yellow side to the blue side. Bear and Blade can't flip those back. Once those are activated by the heroes, it's done. It belongs to them. If they flip 4 of these 7, if they activate 4 of these 7 before Bear and Blade activates 4 of 7, then the heroes win, and vice versa. So both Bear and Blade and the heroes are trying to do the same thing. Let me show you how this level was originally set up. This represents a little something different here, but let me show you how this level was set up in order to start the game. So this is how you would set up the Sky Deck to play my variant. You have a Blade Battalion soldier guarding 3 of the silos where there's a scenario marker on the engine and on the energy turbines, and you have Bear and Blade who starts right beside one of these teleportation devices. I think it's just called a platform teleporter. So he has the opportunity to move quickly. Without a guard here, not that the guard would do anything to hurt him, but without a guard here, he would simply either move into there and take the first scenario marker very, very easily, or he would move into here and go to some other part of the ship. One of the things that they don't really talk about in the rules is that all it says is once you enter a blue space, you can move to another blue space, only you can't skip a level. You can't go from berth to bridge, as I said. You need to go in between. One thing the rules aren't clear about, although I don't think they intend to mean this, but it says that you can go from one blue square automatically to another blue square. So that would insinuate that if Bear and Blade started here with a movement of 4, he could go 1, and then suddenly appear over here on the same level. He's only moved once so far. Now he could go 2, 3, 4, or whatever he wanted to do. I'm not sure if the rules intend for that or not. In any case, the only thing that I think I would do differently here if I could would be to actually put a Blade Battalion guy right there, just like I have for the other places. With the exception, or let's say the reason I haven't done that, is because I need 3 of them to start in the berth. So unless you kill one of them, I think there's only 6 of them. So you don't have a 7th Blade Battalion guy to choose from anyway. In the middle, there's an auto-powered turret, which is just there to mess people up. And by the way, line of sight is blocked by characters in this variant. So if the Baron is there and Wraith was here and she wanted to use her Razor Ordnance to attack Baron Blade, she actually couldn't, because line of sight would be blocked by the auto turret, and she would have to probably attack the auto turret or move around in such a way as to get a clear line of sight. So the rules changed for me, or I changed the rules, because it's such close quarters here, and I really wanted to play something that was a little more tactical instead of just saying, okay, she can hit him. It felt like this should be in the way, some sort of big gun or a person, a Blade Battalion soldier or whatever. It felt like under the circumstances, it would be okay to have stuff in the way. The only other thing that I would like to point out while we're on this level, while we're on the sky deck, is these little glass beads that I've put on the board. Now, I'm going to use some transparency, some colored transparency in the future, and I'm going to lay the transparency. There is glass here, obviously, because you've been seeing glare the whole time. That just holds down the map from curling. They're like a fabric map, and they really, really want to fight and curl up. Anyway, so my glass is in the way. But I will, in the future, be using like old overhead transparencies, either clear ones or colored ones, I'm not sure. But what these have done, what these indicate, is that this turbine was knocked out. So let's imagine a little bit of the G and the haw. Is that the right? I'm not a pilot, so I don't really know. Let's imagine that this whole mobile defense platform, the whole thing, all three levels, sort of tilt and move according to what sort of power is available to them. And so what these indicate are two things. First, this indicates to me, and I happen to remember this, that this silo was shut down. Okay, it was shut down. Now, if it was the Baron, nothing would happen. He's simply moving in there and he's activating it. And when he activates it, by the way, I just remove it from the board. Okay. Now, I know that that probably didn't happen. I know that probably this happened. I know that the heroes probably got to it first. And why do I say that? Because what this represents is a deactivation of this unit. And what that means is this whole platform started tilting because these three thrusters were firing, but this one was now not. It's exploded or whatever. So these tokens represent gravity, which impact movement, not line of sight, just movement. So the silo has become a level 4, and these represent a level 3. So the idea here is that after destroying this, the whole thing has tilted like this. And so now the heroes, Baron Blade, the battalion, anyone, if they want to come into this silo, if they want to come to this direction, they have to overcome gravity or the tilt of this whole machine to overcome a level 3 and a level 4 to get into here. Similarly, that's why those are there. And so this was also destroyed by the heroes, which indicates that there was power loss in 2 of the turbines. And so these are placed over here because now this has become a 4, not for range, but only for movement. And these indicate a 3 of movement. So if you were here and you were Wraith and you had a 3 of movement, it would cost you 1, 2, 3, 4 to move onto that square. So if she had a 3 of movement, she couldn't do it. The gravity, the tilt of the mobile defense platform would have overcome her. And finally here you can see the way things ended up on the bridge. It might be a little bit difficult to pick up on the camera, but right here in the cartoon drawing under these 3 hexes is what I presume to be a computer terminal. There's also a computer terminal right here and a computer terminal right here. And so the way this scenario begins is with scenario markers right behind each of the computers. Although it's not intended to be behind per se, it just means that you have to get into the right spot to work the panel. Okay? And so that's what Baron Blade is trying to do. He's here. He's fought some gravity, obviously, as you can see, to get up and activate that. It actually worked out really well. I'll go ahead and tell you that in the end, Baron Blade won. He managed to get the 7th. It was 3-all. Both sides had 3 activations, and Baron Blade got the final one, which was this one up here. It was really neat because Tachyon came up through this portal, I believe, through this platform teleporter, and immediately started getting hammered by these powered auto turrets. And so that's the setup for here. So you have 3 powered auto turrets, and you have this living force field generator. And what that does is that gives extra protection to the auto turrets. So the bridge is really, really heavily defended. And she took quite a beating. I think she was incapacitated 2 or 3 times. But it was her speed that really almost saved the day. Because when she appeared here on this square, she started getting pelted right away by both of these cannons. But because of her speed, she was able to come over and activate this and activate this, all while Baron Blade had only just managed to pop up here. So Baron Blade was already on the bridge, but she was so fast that she was able to get to here and to here. However, by the time she got to here and activated this one, Baron Blade made it to here and barely activated that one. It was his last try. It was his last effort. He rolled the dice, and one of his dice was a 5. Had it not been, it would have been Wraith's turn to go, and Wraith would have been coming through the teleporter, probably into this space here, or maybe that space there. I don't know what we would have done. Maybe attack the Baron, or maybe just go straight for the activation and for the win. But it didn't get to that. Baron Blade managed to overcome. There's definitely all kinds of other rules that I never got to or touched upon for my little variant, and I think I put some of them on Board Game Geek. In fact, I think I have the very first entry under this expansion on Board Game Geek. There's nothing as far as I can remember. So under variants, if you go looking, you'll see where I've made a small entry. Sentinel's Tactics. It is a really good game. I'm not sure why they felt the need to kill it, because as far as I'm concerned, Greater Than Games had a real winner here. You can get miniatures for the game. I don't have those. I'm not a miniatures guy. I actually like tokens just fine. But for this game, I may. And because no one's playing it anymore, it's usually pretty easy to find this stuff. This is a good value game because people are unloading it because the IP, it's finished. Well, I shouldn't say that. This game is finished. The IP still exists in Sentinels of the Multiverse and everything else. In any case, friends, that's my variant for the mobile defense platform. If you have any questions, pop them down below. Let me know. Recommended.